Yes, yes, now.
Give, go ahead, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Morrison.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, across the spectrum, whether here in Belize or in the diaspora. This is show number 341. Um, we we have so much going on this evening with the new release of the news and all that. But first, we'll have a scripture and a word of prayer, and we'll ask Mr. Leonard Brackett to please open our program this evening with a word of prayer, and then we'll go to Mr. Wade for the scriptures. So thank you and good evening once again, Mr. Brackett.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for gracing us with your presence, sir, and for being willing to share our program for tonight. And I'm sure that this will turn out to be one of those memorable programs as well, based on what I think you have put on the agenda. A lot of current affairs, and therefore, from the get start, I want to pat you on the back and say, thanks. Let's do it. Let's roll. Rock and roll, they said. And I'll just bow my head for a second to the prayer. Divine loving Father, once again we come before thy presence to ask that thou would continue to have mercy upon us, to know our heart, our desire, even our most secret thoughts, loving Father. Thou who art the creator of heaven and earth and all that in them are, into thy hand we commend ourselves, our family members, friends, and loved ones. We also commend our country of Belize, its people and leadership, as well as this country of the United States, its people and leadership, and all the rest of humanity, especially for all Belizeans at home and abroad, as we launch this particular program tonight. Please, loving Father, have mercy upon those people who are in war zones, in tornadoes, in hurricanes, in flooding, earthquakes, volcanoes, and all manner of pestilence and stuff happening on the face of this earth. Please continue to abide with us. We pray for us, mercies in Jesus' name. Amen.
Man.
Are you, Mr. Wade? Mr.
No,
Chairman?
Mr. Chairman.
Good evening once again. Mr. Wade, could you please lead us in our scripture?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So again, it's a pleasure to sit in your company, and please allow me, Mr. Chairman, tonight to read from Malachi chapter 4, 1 to 10, and it reads, "It shall come to pass in the latter days that the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established as the highest of the mountain, and it shall be lifted up above the hills, and people shall flow to it. Many nations shall come and say, Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, that he may teach us his ways, and that we may walk in his path. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. He shall judge between many people, and shall decide for a strong nation far away, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more, but they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid, for the mouth of the Lord of hosts has spoken. For all the people walk each in the name of its God, but we will walk in the name of the Lord our God forever and ever.
Amen.
And that the day declares the Lord, I will assemble the lame and gather those who have been driven away and those whom I have afflicted. And the lame I will make the remnant, and those who were cast off, and a strong nation, and the Lord will reign over them in Mount Zion his time, for this time forth and forevermore. And you, O tower of the flock hill of the daughter of Zion, to you shall it come. The former dominion shall come, kingship for the daughter of Jerusalem. Now they do now why do you cry aloud? Is there no king in you? Has your counselor perished? The pain seized you like a woman in labor? Wait and groan, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in labor. For now you shall go out from the city and dwell in the open country. You shall go to Babylon. There you shall be rescued. There the Lord will redeem you from the hands of the enemies. Now many nations are assembled against you, saying, let her be defiled, and let our eyes gaze upon Zion. But they do not know the thoughts of the Lord. They do not understand the plan that he has gathered them as sheaves to the threshing floor. Arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion, for I will make you your iron horn, and I will make your roofs bronze. You shall beat in pieces many people, and shall devote their gain to the Lord, their wealth to the Lord of the whole earth. That's my reading, Mr. Chairman, from Malachi chapter 4, 1 to 10. Thank you for
Thank you.
indulging me to read that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wade. I think that is so relevant for some of the issues we are facing as a nation in Belize, and probably to some degree the whole world at this point, as it seems that everything is not what it should be, is in uproar, it's in disarray. Democracy seems to be a threat everywhere to some degree. Nationalism seems to be the rolling stone, and we have seen this action before, not you nor I, not I or you or Mr. Brackett in our lifetime, but it has led to world wars in what we're seeing today going on with all this protectionism and all this nationalism and the harshness of how government are dealing with its people. And tonight I have a slight agenda. I don't know how much of it we'll get to because of what news unfold on Channel 7 this evening. But I wanted to talk mainly about that in one aspect of police brutality. Then I also wanted us to spend a little bit of time to get some ideas rolling as how weird the people of Belize, and probably would apply to people everywhere, but in Belize particularly as we stand right now, how we can further develop our democracy so that our leaders are in fact accountable to the people. Because what we saw and what we know going on right now, there's no accountability on the part of leadership. They're lying to us. They're avoiding straight talk and concurring with the people on activities and events, and they just seem to be running off with it with things. And then also recently we saw that the appellate court in Belize made a ruling that overturned a previous ruling that now favors the government in terms of land um, they have always been mixed up with land titles. Some of it may have been because of some bogus plans and things they've been doing, or some of it may just be some accidents and not having things properly organized and documented. But we saw that they were always held to what was considered the market value, which was sometimes was 10, 15, 20 million dollars in terms of property that was sold for a few $1,000s. And now, because they sold it twice, the government was on the hook, and as a result, the people of Belize was on the hook for these millions of dollars that that would then have to be paid to cover and compensate those people that was dispossessed of their property. So we'll probably get to that, or probably we'll if there's one of the things we skip on tonight, that would be the agenda number 3 that I had. But then the other information I wanted to talk about as we're approaching this month of September, that is our celebration period for both our Battle of St. George's Key commemoration and the defense and what restored for us our country, Belize, to talk a little bit about, and then also our independence in this same time frame on the 21st, to talk a little bit too about the misinformation that so many people traffic in this in why they don't believe a battle was fought, or call it a skirmish, or whatever it is of the understanding. So I wanted to see if we could jump on that a little bit this evening, and if we run out of time, then I will. So I'll put number 3 that I had for number 4 in my agenda, so that we can get to at least those 3 items that I have mentioned earlier. So we saw today, and have not got a chance to look at the video, gentlemen, and to the audience. Thank you for joining us this evening, and we hope that we will be able to give you a lively program. And please feel free to send in your questions, so that we can sort of look at those and have some responses for you. This evening we had the video on Channel 7 that showed. I was told, as I said, I did not get a chance to look into it, so maybe some of you gentlemen could fill in the gaps for me. But it showed that the police officers were culpable, were involved, and that the commission and in the kidnapping of Mr. Budin, and that his statement that he had made so far have proven to be the correct note of the events that went on to some degree, and that we had contrary comments from the commissioner, and that it has caused a misleading, it has caused a misdirection, and that these actions, we don't know how they were sanctioned, whether it was a political decision. We don't know how the actions was taken to kidnap him. Now we could clearly use the word kidnap, because it's not a proper manner for doing an extradition because there was no request, from my understanding, from Guatemala, and there was no court document to fulfill the requirement of following through on what an extradition requirement would be. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, quickly.
Yes.
On the point that you mentioned just now about extradition, it was not extradition, just as you clarified, but more to the point, the correct term or word to be used for what took place is rendition.
Yes. Yes.
It covers all the angles that anyone could try and cubbyhole the process, but at the end of the day, it was a rendition, whether it was legal, illegal, or lawful, or those are the points we're going to discuss later on. But let's not forget that one word, rendition, because it makes a difference in terms of how it's classified.
Yes, yes, yes. And probably.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Brackett. Yeah, as Mr. Brackett pointed out, the term is rendition. And we need to kind of figure out exactly where the role of the who are culpable, because definitely this has now thrown new light on what this illegal activity was, violating his constitutional right, violating his personal, individual civil rights. And I am sure that with the evidence that's out so far, he will have no problem getting human rights lawyers attached to his case to address this sort of concern. So again, we can only imagine that the people will be responsible for a huge bill to address this illegal action of kidnapping him, renditioning him to the conditions and to the arms of the Guatemalans. So, Mr. Wade, would you like to jump in first and give us some insight into what you have seen on this video and your understanding and where we think we stand with it this evening?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, it's a pleasure sitting in your company along with Leonard. Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Thank
Um,
thank you too, sir.
uh, I am so glad, Mr. Chairman and Leonard, that we could sit here and we could we could reason. Um, we could sit here and we could see whether it was right and whether it was wrong, whether like you said, Mr. Chairman, that Mr. Budna's rights, or human rights, basic rights, personal rights, and all his rights has been violated. And Mr. Chairman, we have Greg with us, so
Yes.
you
Good
want
evening,
to.
Mr. Brackett. Just bidding you good evening. If you just introduce yourself, I'll get back to Mr. Wade.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening to one and all, and to the people
Good
at
evening.
home and abroad.
Please continue, Mr. Wade.
Yes, Greg and Leonard and Mr. Chairman, right? That we have seen all the wrong that they did to Mr. Budna. Um, how come do we get to where we at?
I'm going to
How
log out
come,
for a few minutes. I'll log in back.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a noise coming from you.
Mr. Chairman, how did we, as a small nation, get to this kind of heinous act by individuals? Um, I had spoken initially as to how I feel and as to what I think had happened. And I have spoke, Mr. Chairman, on the verbalism and the verbal words that came out publicly by the Commissioner of Police right after the incident. And I have drawn my own conclusion about the words and the things that came out of his mouth. I have said right away, why not tell the truth? Why you start covering up? The investigation hasn't started. Video footage hasn't been brought forward. But right away, from the tone of that man, he has already started to do house cleaning. Right? That's only me seeing that. Now, I have said that as time progressed, Mr. Chairman and Leonard, that we will see more of what actually transpired.
You did say
Now,
so, sir.
yes,
Exactly.
now I say this to say that, I still take these. I want to say a word, but I will not say that word. I still has up to our last show thought that we had honest policemen honest politician that will stop telling lies, that they have nothing to hide. So up to our last show, I thought that the video that was going to be presented, because they will have to produce that video, and it really makes me sick and want to puke, seeing how they doctored, and it takes so long. I think 4 or 5 days and they're still working on it, Mr. Chairman. They're still working on the balance that what they want to portray to the nation and the world. They're working on it because now the suckers has been caught, right? Because of people like us, we are just one of the entities that are spouting out that we demand clarity, we demand fairness, right? And we demand accountability, and that's what we on this Belizean Affairs show has been doing for our 341 shows, right? Now, people like us, in the eyes of these hooligans, of our leaders, and our police department, law enforcement, they don't like for us to bring forth these things, because at some point we have people who have had experience and who knows right from wrong and who knows the right thing that they should be doing. Am I saying that they should be doing the right thing? But so far, I see that they are all doing the wrong things, Mr. Chairman. And as for this video will tell a lot. And this video is not clearly shown to the nation and the world because of one reason. They got caught. But I just hope and pray, Mr. Chairman, that the family of Mr. Budner does not settle for a public defender, does not settle for attorney that will be given or want to shove down his throat by the Belizean authorities and by the Belizean government. No, I say this, I cannot pay for an attorney for you, but I hope that your family could pull together and get some outside attorneys, some good attorneys to fight this battle, right? And when I say fight this battle, I'm not saying that I, again, for the 199th time, that I condone what Mr. Budner had done. No, you do the crime, you should do the time. But there's a legal way, there is constitutional ways that things could and should be done. We are not living in a country that they could just willy-nilly pick you up, lay you in front of a firing squad and shoot you, or pick you up and do the things that they did to that guy. No, that is wrong, wrong, wrong. There's a right way. The same way that Mr. Johnny Briseño's father was arrested and taken to court and given his fare. They didn't do all the cruel things to that man that they did to Mr. Joseph Ryan Budner. No, they did not. He was treated humanely. So that's all I'm saying. So, Mr. Chairman, I just hope and pray that this family get this video and get some forensics done by outside entity, because it could be done. It had been done. It have been done in this country. That the video went out of the country for analysis, different opinion. So I say this to say that the same way that had happened, Mr. Joseph Ryan Budner family should not take what this government is presenting to the nation via the video, because they have control of that. So get that, take it out of this country called Belize for forensics and other legal opinion. That's all I'm saying, right? Because this video is already starting to look nasty for the government, for some politician, and for the police department. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mister. Thank you very much, Mr. Leonard Brackett. Could you please share your thoughts on this?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. In the first instance, I would like to say that the videos that we are seeing are not all of what is available. I think we stipulated that a program or two ago. But I'll go a little further tonight. As regards to videos and evidence, especially in regards to criminal case like this that involves government entities or personnel or lack thereof, the House of Representatives passed a law not too long ago, shepherded through the system by cabinet, to the point where if anybody have any evidence in regards to any case or any kind of major crime, they are required to turn it over, and or the police can come to your house and take it even without your consent. You guys remember that? And we raised a hell of a lot of can about it when they were trying to push it. They went ahead and they still passed that into law. Of course, we all know, as we have told you, it's unconstitutional in the first place because it violates the Constitution in many different sections. But they went ahead and created the law and put it on the book, and they are willing and ready to use it when they need to, as in specifically this case, because like we had pointed out, and like in Mr. Wade's exact words, there are other videos out there. You stipulated that a couple programs ago, Mr. Wade, and we all agreed that that was the case. We also agreed that, as a minimum, the government buildings that had video cameras would have recorded that stuff, which is part of what we are now currently seeing. We're not seeing it all, but that they could have turned around and said, for all intents and purposes, to exculpate themselves or to muddy the water some more, they could have said, well, the videos wasn't working, or there's a problem with the videos. Okay? That's the kind of rascals we're dealing with.
Don't give them any ideas.
Sir?
Don't give them any ideas.
No, I'm not giving them ideas. That's how they operate. I'm just exposing their hands. That's how they operate. The rest of the public, all of us out here, need to understand what goes on behind the scene. That's why the commissioner could come out and say, he could say for a certainty before the case start being investigated that no police was involved. Why? Because the man had claimed that police was involved in his abduction, and police was present when they were abducting him, and police never helped him or never. In other words, the police turned a blind eye and pretend that it was like no big deal. We have heard that the police officers, the one police officer that was standing out there, two of them. There was one that went in the station who was armed, and another one that was unarmed that was outside the station. That much information we were given early on into the process. And Mr. Bunna had said that the police officer did not render any assistance to him, that the other officers told the police officer that they were in control. And that's why we saw that the other officer, now we have the evidence, we had heard it before, but now we can see it on the tape, that the officer went aside, spoke to one of the persons that were involved with the activities to capture and render Mr. Bunna, and then that officer went back into the station after having been assured by people that he should have been able to recognize as being police officers who had jurisdiction. Because there's another thing that I need to point out here, right, that a lot of people are not aware of. They feel like all police officers in Belize have to be wearing police uniform. There are police officers that go on special assignments. You have the CIB, and then you also have the special assignment officers who do drug interdiction, and others, such as Mr. Vidal. When Mr. Vidal was commanding his units that was running from one side of the country, from north to south, east to west, and he had command and authority over all the other different divisions. He was next to the commissioner, and only the commissioner had any more power than he had. His members of the force wasn't dressed in the regular brown police uniform. No, they had tactical uniforms, and they had tactical weapons. They didn't have no 9mm or no small weapons. So what I'm saying is that we, the Belizean public, need to put these things in context, but we can only do that if we're aware of what's going on. Now, these people that claim to have been police officers, or that they claim, because they told the police officer they were police officers, the police should have been able to call for backup and verify or validate what was happening. He should not have walked away and allowed somebody to be assaulted the way they knew that he was being, because before they went out there, they were looking through their windows. Okay? They didn't just rush out there, two people. Mr. Budna was being chased from across the other side of the street before he get close to the police station. But I have a lot more to say, and I don't want to monopolize on the chairman. I would like to stay within the parameters of the show presentation, so I'll just reserve my further
Thank you
comment.
very much. Thank you very much. Mr. Brackett,
Welcome,
could you please share your thoughts on this? And maybe you have some, face it with their own lies, like you always.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me go to the video. Before I do that, I want to go to the first video. Because I have said on this show, I know for a fact the police was involved. And I knew that because I had mentioned that what Mr. Budna was saying, he specifically said they spoke in Creole, and one of them had on a white T-shirt. He said one of those police officers, the one who was in control making the calls, had on a white T-shirt. Let's watch the video.
He also said
The video shows Joseph Budna being chased from Banquitas towards the courthouse and police station. He's pursued by one man while the blue Chevy Equinox, which looks grey in the video, is also on his tail. They try to catch him under the courthouse and he dashes back towards Banquitas. All the while, he's hollering. He then runs across the street to the library where he falls on the sidewalk and they beat him for 3 minutes. You can see he's in the same outfit he did his last live broadcast in. This is about 100 feet diagonally across from the police station. And you can see how freely his abductors are moving. They have no fear of being caught. They continue to pound him. All the while he's shouting, making noise. After 1.5 minutes of this beatdown, a police officer strides over from the station. One of the aggressors stands up from beating an unarmed man and casually waves off the responding officer. They went to talk in an area off camera for a few seconds, and the police officer then walked back to the station, sending home a civilian who was also responding. And then, in plain view, in the heart of Orange Walk, 100 feet from the station, the abductors can be seen carrying Joseph Budna across the street. The Equinox, with him inside, then drives off, and is later seen driving up stop to get away.
I just want to add, Mr. Brackett, those videos, they look intentionally manipulated so that they're not clear, because cameras don't take pictures like that generally.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
that's
Chairman.
the kind of that is used when the matter gets to the court for the evidence to be thrown out, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Sir,
if I
keep on.
may, the video was done the way you saw it because Mr. Budna asked for it not to be showed. I want to say this not like the commissioner, but categorically. Mr. Jules Vasquez has stated on Channel 7 news tonight that he saw the video in full, the unedited version, and he can vouch, he can put himself on the line 100% that it was police officers and it was done just as Mr. Budna stated. And Mr. Chairman, I don't want to just put that out there and make it seem as though it is my word. So I will ask for you to go to someone else while I prepare that video so we can hear that per video what Mr. Vasquez had to say. I go back to you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Brackett,
Yes,
do you
sir.
have some points on what?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to read from the Constitution of Belize, Section 5, subsection 1, and a few other paragraphs. It has paragraph A to paragraph J. So it's quite extensive, and we don't have enough time to read all of that and
Yeah.
all the other pieces that I would
Maybe
like
you
to
could just give us a quick
Yes, sir.
recap of what it
Right.
says. Mr.
Yes, sir.
Brackett. Rather, do
Section-
you have to read it, or could you just sum it up
Yes,
for us?
I need to read it, sir. I need to read it.
Okay, sir. Please continue.
Section 5, subsection 1 reads as follows. A person shall not be deprived of his personal liberty, save as may... Holy sh... Every time I touch the surface of this stuff, it always does that. I know I probably had lost it. No. Next one. I don't know how many pages. Oh, shit. Yeah.
Could you give us in gist then what you were trying to share with us?
Basically, what it says is that a person shall not be deprived of his freedom, his liberty. He should not be. There shouldn't be any policies of state made by the government or executed or practiced by the government that derogates any person's freedom of movement, freedom of speech, right to association, and they're not supposed to be deprived from the privilege to go in and out of Belize. Neither are they supposed to be deprived of the privilege to transit within Belize from any part, north, south, east, or west. And there's also some extra parts that I didn't get to read. Like I said, it's kind of expansive, right? But it covers the area where it says that if a person is to be extradited, it gives the instructions and the guidance as to how that process is supposed to happen. That no person should be deprived of their rights under the extradition treaties where they exist, and no person should be rendered to any other country without a proper judicial process for that rendition to be had or to be made. But we'll get into some more of it, as we go along.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Wade, do you have any comments on that you want to share?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, where I have a problem again with is with the Commissioner of Police right away with that press conference. Oh yeah, he says that he activated roadblocks and activated other formations to be on the lookout and all that and that situation shouldn't have passed the Tower Hill factory, that bridge. That whole situation should have been, if it is true, which I know it's not true, what he said, that he activated right away. That's what that man said. That individual, the farthest I give him.
Do you think the commissioner was lying to the public in his press conference?
He was lying, Mr. Chairman, through his two mouths. Through his two mouths. And I go a little bit further, Mr. Chairman, where Mr. Budna ended up. If they didn't apprehend that whole scenario there at the Tower Hill, right at the junction of the northern road and to go to the
The checkpoint.
there's a
Boom,
checkpoint
boom,
to go
boom.
through the boom cut off right there. So
And
yes,
then they have to pass the
I
prison.
give him good limit. Oh yeah, well the active
They have to
those
pass the
checkpoints
prison.
are there.
Another
Hold
checkpoint,
on a
right?
sec,
Right,
Leonard.
right.
I'll pass over you right now.
Yes,
That
yes, sir.
checkpoint is there, Mr. Chairman, right? So my whole problem is with the words that came out of the commissioner's mouth,
He's a
right?
liar.
He is a liar, right? Right? The man is lying then and he's lying now. I hope that at some point, Mr. Chairman, that he will come truthful
Nope.
to the Belizean people. I hope
That
that
will not
at
happen, my
some
brother.
point.
That will not happen, my brother.
Okay.
Not the kind of
Let me
person
Mr. Chairman.
Let me go to Mr. Gregory Brackett. Are you ready,
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr.
Brackett?
Chairman.
Okay.
I want to say this because I see that, Mr. Wade, you're beating up yourself. But I want to say that there is a narrative. I have always spoken about the narrative from these elected officials that when one says something, every other ministers will join the bandwagon and they will repeat the cycle. We heard the commissioner said there's an investigation going on. We heard the prime minister said the exact thing. And now I want you to listen to the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
But we have credible evidence which suggests that police officers orchestrated and executed his abduction. He was illegally abducted. Will the state do anything to bring this citizen?
Well, you say you have credible evidence of that, but we don't. We have a police investigation that is underway, an investigation that has to be completed. Foreign Affairs is providing whatever information is required of us to that investigation. Once that investigation is completed, then we'll be in a position to determine whether or not what you are saying is accurate.
Do you agree that that investigation should be independent and that police are directly implicated by the victim and also by the evidence which Channel 7 has?
Well, I haven't seen any evidence. I have not seen your evidence. So we're not in a position to say that as yet. We may reach that point where, based on the course of the investigation, a determination is made that this has to be done outside of the police department. But we're not there yet. We have to allow the investigation to follow its course. And once that we've established certain things, then I think we can determine whether or not we need independent special investigation.
I have not been able to reach you at all. Do you have a phone number I can
Gentlemen,
reach you on?
I stopped the tape there because it is important to say
6882.
the foreign minister is in denial and he has jumped on the bandwagon with the narrative.
Okay. Yeah.
We
Okay.
have to
I
allow
called him.
the
I called him and I think he
investigation
didn't respond.
to
But
go on.
I'll
No, sir.
Cover up.
You are the
okay. Thank you very
investigation.
much.
The government is the investigation. How can you say you have to allow the investigation to go on when you have a newscaster who is doing a better job than you, the police, to investigate this matter?
I think we already proved the police can't investigate themselves, right?
But, Mr. Chairman, when you are using the phrase, we need to allow the investigation to go on, you are the investigation.
Calling for time.
In fact, the police is the one with the DVRs. But to go back to what I was saying, people at home and abroad, let's hear it from Mr. Vasquez himself.
No criminal would have chosen to do it there. It happened in the epicenter of Orange Walk, front of the police station, you would see in Creole, right? Mr. Budna, when they started to chase him from Banquitas, he ran towards the court. At that point, he was 50 feet from the police station and he was making noise. The full version has the audio.
Okay.
Again, the state has it.
Clear to see.
Clear to see,
Okay.
indubitable.
Okay.
I vouch my
Okay.
entire profession
So
on
Channel 7 is literally, we're vouching for the authenticity of the video
100%.
and the interpretation of what's happening in it.
8:30
Okay.
p.m. to 8:36 p.m. I can vouch my absolutely for its
Okay.
authenticity and the veracity
Okay.
of what we see there. So this is happening in the middle street. He runs from Banquitas. The Equinox tries to block him off. He runs past that.
So there you go, Mr. Chairman. He has seen it and edited, and he can vouch 100%. So the
Okay.
government,
I was just personally concerned, thinking that maybe the police had manipulated it to some point where it was not clear. But I understand what you said, that Mr. Budna had indicated that he wished that the video not be shown at this time, and so it was
exactly, sir.
edited to create those blur images at his request. But there is a good and clear copy of this video out there or available.
The reason why, Mr. Chairman, the reason why I believe is because he wants to see if the police will police themselves before they expose more. Because now, this is not just a Belizean matter. It becomes an international matter worldwide. And your government cannot run away from it because you know what happened. We are a partner of the Geneva,
Convention.
that is
Geneva
correct,
Convention.
against crime. And you
And
know
Human
what
Rights
these people
and
do in the
International Human
Commonwealth.
Rights Commission as well.
When you do that and you try to lie, they cut your funds immediately. You cannot get no funds from them. So I want to see how this matter will play out. I go back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Brackett.
Yes, sir. You heard me refer earlier in my comments to the fact about videotapes, and that videotapes were okay. The government buildings, they had cameras. Those cameras and those tapes belong to the government. They have custody of those. Okay. So whatever is it that's going to be shown on those tapes, those were not the only tape available, as I tried pointing out earlier. There are many other tapes
Mr.
out there.
Brackett,
But those
Mr. Brackett, just to correct you,
Go ahead then. Go ahead.
just to correct you, those are government buildings paid by taxpayers' money. Those tapes belong to the public, sir, not to the government.
The correction is taken away from the effectiveness of what I'm trying to say, because that's a given. Nobody is stipulating otherwise than what you're saying. So why are we even debating or discussing that as a side
Let's
issue?
move on, Mr. Brackett.
I need to stay on the point. My point is the evidence, the police will have the evidence that comes from those cameras that are government building and that they have custody over. Okay? So they can do whatever they want.
It's been a week and we haven't seen anything from the
They have
government.
no intention. They're stalling for time. But I want to finish my point. Besides those government controlled tapes, the public also made tapes. There are people who made tapes out there. They cannot just willy-nilly come forward with those tapes right now, especially knowing that the government is being accused of orchestrating this process. And the government, as I pointed out to you guys a little earlier, had gone ahead and made laws to facilitate people having tapes, having to turn it over to the government as evidence, or they can come to your house and take it. So there's a lot of things. I keep on trying to explain background things that people need to be aware of, because sometimes
We understand that, Mr. Brackett.
We make statements, and because it's out of context of the reality of what's happening, it doesn't sound correct, or it doesn't make no sense. All I'm saying, I'm trying to add the meat to the bone to say that the tape that we saw is one of many other tapes. And if we can get access to all those other tapes to do a proper investigation, which by the time we get enough time pass, that proper investigation cannot happen unless we have outside international help and support. Because the Belize government will find ways, they have the ability to exercise ways to scuffle the whole process, okay? Police can get
Yes,
control of
we
those
understand,
tapes,
we
and they
understand
can
that,
do what
Mr.
they want to
Brackett.
do.
One of the concern we have too is that the communication and the phone call that was apparently made by Mr. Budna
As well as text
and the
that was made
police officer
him
phone
and
call to the
police made,
commissioner, as Mr. Budna had claimed
right?
that the person had said compiled. And so those are issues, and we don't know if SMART will make those communication available.
An
There
advantage
was
that
there was messages that Mr. Budna sent to the police officer in
all
Orange
those things have to be gathered and collated under a proper investigation. But
So
we won't get
so
that through our
so
government. What I was trying to say though is that the government is in a position to be able to put their finger in the thing and stir it up and make a mess of it. But they have to remember, if they're smart, as they should be, that a lot of these things were people have the ability to record stuff on the internet that the government doesn't have any access to and cannot gain access except under certain conditions. Okay, so they can put themselves out there and try to pull and pull the information, but they can be caught by cross-referencing and cross-checking other publicly available information. But all of us don't know who are the people that actually were recording, but those things are on databases.
do any of you think that at this point that the prime minister needs to address this situation, because it is surely becoming something that could shake his government
All
to
they're
some
interested,
degree?
Mr. Chairman, all those people are interested in is how to obfuscate and try to exculpate themselves. They don't want to answer no question to nobody. They don't want to be directed with no kind of, they're not interested. It's a done deal. It happened. They wanted it to happen. We all know that. They wanted it to happen. It already happened. And they don't want to deal with nothing else that's going to cause them to fall afoul
So
of
you don't think they have committed crimes? They have committed crimes
treason. I call it
of
treason.
constitutional infringement. They have
Treason,
committed
sir.
crimes of civil rights. Isn't those crimes somehow
It's high power. It's
criminal
high state crimes. Okay?
Mr. Chairman, if I may say something,
Yes, Mr. Bartlett.
there's always a saying, and I'm quite sure Mr. Wade know what it means. When the hunter becomes the prey. I want to say, based on the video, and I am quite sure that people will know that police officer who walked up to that scene and walked back. And I can almost guarantee you, he will be living in head. He will always have to be looking over his shoulder for stepping aside and not doing the job he took an oath to do. In fact, I will
Well,
take it a
I
little
thought,
bit farther.
Police
Mr.
police
Brackett,
officers
I thought
have to
you'd have to
follow
look over
command.
his shoulders because they're going to take him out.
Police officers have to follow the chain of command. If he's spoken to by a higher authority than I think that gentleman had 2 stripes, if I'm not mistaken, the one that came out that was in his khaki suit. I think he had a 2 stripe. But anyhow, anytime a police officer is spoken to by a superior officer, that police officer have to do, especially in Belize, in a fluid system, is that the subordinate officer has to yield to the higher up officer. Which is why from the
Regardless,
very beginning of this process, I was telling you guys, where you have big people at the head of the table, there are bigger people involved. That is where I was
right,
going with my
but
point.
I
But
am not worrying about that. What I'm saying
I heard
point
you.
blank
We
to the
heard you.
people at home and abroad. Belize have a law called the Enterprise Law. And you know what happened to that police officer? He has just included himself in that kidnapping. That is what it is.
He was told to
And
put
of
on gun,
course,
and he
he
was told by a superior
should
officer.
and will be able to identify the person who told him to step back. And with that said, Mr. Chairman, like Mr. Budna said, this is his conversation to the Prime Minister.
I want to say to the Belizean people and to the government of Belize, what you have done to me is an international crime. You have kidnapped the innocent man who have not committed a crime in his country. And if I did, I had paid the price. 2 days before or 3 days before, I interviewed you, Prime Minister, and you were so pissed off. If you could have slapped me, you would have done it when you walked up to me and said that I always criticize your government and said that instead I talk about the good thing. It's your job, it's a government job to do the good thing. It's not my job to big you up, but I did, and I told you I did. I'm not afraid. I will continue to stand for what is right. I am in Guatemala illegally. This is an international crime. If anything happens to me in Guatemala, I ask the government, I ask the people of Belize to hold the government responsible for this. This could happen to any one of you. So again, if you are not at fault, prove to the Belizean people by releasing those DVR from the courthouse, from the Banquita's House of Culture, the library, police station, National Bank, and other government building in Orange Walk Town.
You see what I'm saying, Mr. Chairman? That is why he asked for them not to show the tape and they edit it. Because now the heat is on the hunter. The hunter becomes the prey. They will have no choice than to show those tapes. If not, the person who showed that tape to Mr. Vasquez, they can release it, and you know what will happen? There will be nothing they can do. As I have mentioned before, we are dealing with a no confidence government. These are the stuff they do when people talk about the no confidence, but at internal and external policies. They have no clue how to run the country. I go back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Good evening once again. As we look at this issue, we see that it compounds itself with many facets of concerns that puts the government and the police department right in the center of what we could only call corrupt practices. And we hope and that our Prime Minister will address this issue. We hope that after seeing this video, that the Commissioner of Police will come clean and explain to the people what his involvement was, what was his point of knowing what happened and when it happened, and why this was allowed to move in this direction. And if this was some secret program by Guatemala to have Mr. Budna kidnapped from Belize and turned over to the government of Guatemala, or if it was just some people in Belize that Mr. Budna had so raised an irate position with them that they feel compelled to take it into their own hands and return him to this country that has this not great relationship with Belize, and to turn him over to that government so that he can be imprisoned there. And we also, I believe, would like to know what is the government doing on their part to have Mr. Budna return to Belize, since he was illegally taken out of this country in the form of kidnapping it. So, Mr. Wade, do you have any points on this? Because I want to move on to something else in a bit.
Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Um, one of the other issues that that parallels into this is how do we ensure that our democracy functions? What can we do on our own as individuals to make sure that our government or police and all its interiors function? Because this is a good example of government not functioning for the people, for all the people. It is functioning for those that want corruption and those that choose to do things in this extrajudicial manner. And so, what can we do as a country and as a people to hold our government more accountable and to make sure our democracy functions? There must be something. We can't just be, we have elected them and they can do whatever they want for the next 5 years or whenever they decide to call election. So, gentlemen, I'll open it up to whoever wants to jump in and give me some position and some of the things we can start doing as individuals, as a country, as a political, not necessarily, because right now we don't have a functioning opposition party, and I'm so despondent with them, and so think I think none of them in the opposition should be collecting a salary at this point because they're not serving the interests of the people.
Mr. Chairman,
yes, sir.
You have asked a legitimate question, and I believe I can answer that for you. The government of Belize has been for some time now trying to take away national security from its people. And they have been trampling on the people through the bastardization of our constitution. And we can see how far this is going. I am saying this to specify two past events that show you how they work. The first one was the marijuana bill that they wanted to pass that was blocked by the churches. The second one was Oceania, who had an intention for a referendum. But now there is a referendum going to be taking place in Kikaka. So the question has to be asked, is Kikaka a different state from Belize? Because then if you listen to what the minister is saying, once this is done, they want to use this as a stepping stone to try to conquer the population with the marijuana bill that they have just blocked the churches from having a referendum with. And I would like to go to the tape, sir, to see if we can make it make sense.
I would like to say that that is something that it's a right. If you believe you have something there, the due process is going, and it's a democratic country. If you feel that you want to push an agenda, which has been done and triggered a referendum in Kikaka, I for one will look at what happens illegally. If that is what is called for, we have to go for it. I'm not too sure how we can look at it, whether it is something that can be done for one little island. You know, that there are still some legal ramifications that I am not aware of, and we need to look at that. But if we want to look at the positive side, perhaps that can be such as to quote one of the ministers said, that it can be a form of a litmus test. We can get the feeling of they're using that referendum to see what is the feeling out there, the sentiment of the entire country. That can be used as a litmus test. So we'll see what happens. And then we are looking at the other side as well, that if this referendum is going to happen, how much will it cost? Does it set a precedence in terms of whether other people want to do different referendums, and that is costing us taxpayers' money? Remember, it's taxpayers' money that's going to be spent for one referendum.
Do you think that though, if it were to be legalized, or if maybe Kikaka and San Pedro specifically, because we've seen a lot of tourists coming in and they get charged at the airport for bringing marijuana because they don't check, they don't check the laws. It's legal in their country. So do you feel like it would alleviate some of those problems that maybe more people would want to come?
No, I want to address that. When I read the news about people being arrested, or people coming with a couple grams in there, I look at it and says, do we really need that? Do we really need that to make a big deal about it? Someone that comes in with it. Because remember, here it's decriminalized for a certain amount of grams, but they're coming in and bringing it illegal. So certainly we can look at that way there, that it could benefit in that way.
Imagine we are having a minister stating that he don't want tourists coming in with a little bit to be penalized. But yet we have these black young men in Southside Belize have been chased and run down by the police force, beaten up and charged for a little bit of marijuana. So, Mr. Chairman, when you speak about what can we do, we don't have the referendum power because they block it. But what we do have is our constitution to hold them accountable. And the way to do that is whenever they try to pass these informal laws, like the 13th Amendment, the public needs to unite, stand up, and block these bills. A prime example is the removal of the Queen head from the currency. Who did they ask before they did that? What referendum, what town hall meeting did they have before they removed the Queen head from the bill? I go back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. I just want to add before I join you, Mr. Brackett. We are slipping on going on a very slippery slope with this referendum. Although a referendum giving a jurisdiction the right to have a referendum, I don't have a problem with that because they can vote on what they want. It still needs to stand the test of our Constitution. Can they do something that the national law says is illegal? And that would be a test of the court to say, can you legalize marijuana in this particular region when in fact the laws of Belize criminalize marijuana? So we need to recognize the rights of the individual municipalities, but we need to make sure also that they're not doing something contrary to our national laws and to our Constitution.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman. That is why I said we need to hold them accountable by our Constitution. And I also stipulated that I have never known Kikaka to be a separate state, as though we are, not a union.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, please your point, Mr. Brackett.
Yes, sir. The government is trying to do a end run around the Constitution, as well as around the efforts of other people who have provided their signed documents to qualify for the referendum to stop the government from legalizing marijuana. And they're hell-bent in going ahead and doing it. Why? They don't have a problem with it. Because as far as they're concerned, none of their children are in jail. As Gregory stipulated earlier, there's just the black boys from Southside that are always being targeted by the police and by others, and spoken to by the Prime Minister as not having nowhere to go and needing no passport or needing, no kind of support or whatever. All I could do is take them and carry them to Hattieville to sit them down for 30 days to 6 months or a year, possibly, if they could get the new law in place. Keep harassing these people and keep turning these people's lives upside down while they want to have the tourists come in and enjoy the marijuana smoking, not only just in Kikaka, like the minister himself said just now. It's just a test for the rest of the whole country. So if Kikaka then decide, I think there are a few hundred people that live out there, that vote out there, right? If they decide that, out of that, let's say 1,000 people, let's say 2,000 people. I know it's not 2,000, but let's say 1,000. I'll exaggerate too much if I go 2,000. Let's say 1,000 people decide to vote. Out of that 1,000 people, 500 plus one vote in favor of that particular
We're
thing that
losing
they're trying to do.
losing the clarity on your voice, Mr. Brackett.
Let's say, for example, now the Kikaka being a small island in Belize, right? If they had 1,000 people that are registered voters and 501 person vote in favor of that particular referendum, then as the minister says, that's just a test for the rest of the country. So they could go ahead and make it for Kikaka. And since it's part of the law, when they make it for Kikaka, it can be grandfathered for all other parts of the country that they want to classify as being bona fide, which means then they can go from Kikaka to San Pedro, from San Pedro to the whole rest of, the north, the south, the east, the west, wherever. And then they have to stop making people go to jail for bringing in the drug or for planting the drug or whatever, which is what they wanted initially anyhow. Mr. Bishona's father went to jail for marijuana. It was marijuana that used to be peddled back in those days.
Well, I did say that we are on a very slippery slope when we start looking at this type of agreement for one jurisdiction. I wonder how they will explain this when they start considering the Mayan land rights claim and when they start having referendum to deal with specific issues that then would contravene with our national law. So we are setting ourselves up because of greed and probably political expediency.
Exactly.
And trying to satisfy some political advantages in some areas.
It's political and economic as well as social.
That's not going to help us economically. Weed smokers, they're a small part of anything. They're not going to help the Belize economy.
Mr. Chairman,
let me just finish. If we think that weed smokers is going to be an impetus to the Belize economy, then we are far off. Okay?
The man and one for them pick Nicole at jail, so then they legalize it now.
Mr. Chairman, the issue I have with it is how quick they can come up.
These guys aren't stupid.
The issue I have with it is how quick they can come up and use the taxpayers' money for a referendum out there.
Yeah.
But they blocked 2 referendum. In fact, tonight right here, I want to hold the government accountable to stipulate that this referendum would be illegal per se their mode because we have a referendum act in the PCC Act, and no referendum should be carried out while the PCC Act.
The previous referendum.
That was their last argument.
But I don't think any Belizean they pay attention.
That one is no longer convenient, Mr. Brackett. That one is no longer convenient. Mr. Wade, can I have your input, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
But
what is wrong with our government? What is wrong with these politicians? What is wrong with these representatives? What is wrong with these ministers? Like Leonard says, they're trying to set up a state where their sons and daughters are not held accountable for some weed. But anyway, Um, it's so sad to listen to, especially that guy, that Mister. Even I don't know why the taxpayers is paying this guy anyway, right? Based on what he was accused of and dragged into the mud of, but right back in the Belizean administration without proper investigation, without a due process, without they just wrong and strong his accusation, and they took hold of it and exculpate this man and set him up on high esteem. He he's a good guy, very nice guy. But anyway,
he has a lot of contacts out there with the tourists and with the building big hotel and so on. And they
but
make money.
anyway, Mr. Chairman, right? You talk about democracy, and you talk about the ills of our governing system. This People's United Party government is doing away with referendum, right? As far as they're concerned, they don't want to see another referendum held in this country, right? That's.
But isn't it this government now proposing to have the referendum for Kikaka, Mr. Wynn?
That's a bogus referendum they're trying to pull off.
Well,
with the accusing too often
let's see how that will.
Scared of referendum.
Let's see how that will don't you think that they should have had a referendum or amendment?
What the churches will say about this, because they were the one that took down the last weed referendum. Personally, I will say I have no problem with weed or any type of drugs that being legal. I personally don't have any problem with it.
That is
I believe that such value.
Mr. Chairman,
let me finish my point. I believe that such value is on the individual. And I believe if government legalize it, they should use the money they receive for the licensing to set up counseling program and rehabilitation program and such. But because the reason I say that is that when you criminalize it, all you do is make it more expensive. You don't reduce the scarcity. You create a pocket of criminal element within the society that creates hostility to the general public and to the citizen and the society. So I don't have any problem legalizing it, because the people that want drugs, we find them drugged out every single day. And what they do is break into your car, break into your home, murder people, and create gang problems for the rest of the society. While if it was legal, you'd have other problems, but you wouldn't have those problems.
You'd have more vagrants on the street, Mr. Chairman, if it was legal.
No, you
won't.
Well,
Mr. Chairman, let me just finish up real quick here. Each and every one have a different view in the way drugs is been handled, right? I for one would not like to see them legalize marijuana. That's just me,
I'm thinking any drugs you want, Mr. Lee.
Yeah, I was thinking about the way the government behave when someone try to put them in check. I see that they want to be always right, and they want to portray that they are doing right by people and nation. But once someone step up and says, well, Mr. Government, this is what you are not doing right, you are labeled as a bad person, right? In Belize, right? From my own experience, right? A group of us had the government for not doing redistricting. The Briseño guy and his, government says that we are after them. Here I say we are after them, right? You see how far he took it, and how the whole system corrupt, right? So they get what they wanted, right? So now we have to go to a higher court now have to have the the government, get checked, right? Because they are saying that we are after them and we shouldn't be doing this, and it's all wrong what we're doing, right? When in fact is that we are only telling the government that, hey man, the constitution says that you should have redistricting, right? And it's not that I am saying that I want redistricting. No, Mr. Briseño, you are saying we coming after you. No, we are telling you that the constitution says that you should do it, man, and you are not doing it. So see how that man talk about taxpayers' money for a little referendum. You see now the amount of money this man is fighting us, right? Yeah. Tooth and nail that we shouldn't be doing what we are doing. We shouldn't tell him that he should do redistricting, and the constitution says that he should do redistricting. No, we are bad people. We are labeled as bad people. Roody Wade has been labeled as a head claimant, been labeled as a bad person, right? And I'm telling this idiot that the Constitution is saying, not Briseño Constitution or the UDP Constitution. No, the Constitution of Belize is saying that you should do it. That's all it is. So look how many of taxpayers' dollars. Look how many of taxpayers' dollars that this man is using to fight us.
They have no respect for the Constitution.
Anyway, back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Mr. Wade. I'm thinking if Oceana could conduct a referendum and get 40,000 participants throughout many of the keys and regions, why would it be so prohibitive for government to do a referendum for 2,000 people on a small key that could be finished in an 8-hour span? I mean, sure, it's going to cost some money.
Mr. Chairman, there's a reason why they're targeting some Kikaka. Kikaka, the people out there are very much amenable to passing that legislation, that referendum, if it was ever held as a small group.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That is exercising democracy at its fullest. I am for that. I'm not against that.
Mr. Chairman, my point to you is that they are targeting the purpose for which they are now wanting to have a referendum, while they are denying a referendum in so many other ways before. The reason why they are hell-bent in targeting Kikaka with a referendum is because they are almost guaranteed a win. And then with that would say to them,
fine. That's fine, Mr.
Yes,
Brackett.
go ahead and do it for the whole country and get it over with. That's what the people are trying to get it done.
No, they could do it with Kikaka. But I am saying, how will that law contravene with our national law? How will that be in contravenance with the national law that makes, not because otherwise you tell me anything you could do on a referendum, a majority of people says it could be done. That's not it has to be.
That's a micro majority. That's a micro majority of a small little island.
Mr. Chairman, I don't think that will sit well with a lot of Belizean. Because like Greg said, Mr. Chairman, that Kikaka is not an isolated state, right?
Yeah. No, I understand.
So there's a lot of things, a little mechanism in that, and Leonard mentioned one of them, right? Why don't they just have a national referendum? But there's a reason why they're targeting Kikaka. How many people living in Kikaka? What is their social activities in Kikaka? Who comes to... Anyway, I'll say no more.
But there's nothing...
Mr. Wade.
There's nothing wrong.
Enjoying yourself.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, let me explain this, right?
This point, and although I'll give you the...
sorry.
There's nothing wrong in maximizing maximum democracy, and a referendum allows that. So if they choose to do a referendum wherever on whatever issue, as long as it is held properly and the people vote, there's no issue there. There's absolutely none. And we should all embrace that. The community have spoken.
Mr. Chairman,
The issue I have is that that referendum to legalize a product that is a drug that is generally prohibited within the entire sphere of our country, not because those people say we want it, means that it could happen or should happen. It has to meet its legal test.
That is correct, sir.
Exactly. Mr.
But
Chairman, not
what
to
I'm
cut you
saying,
guys cross it. There is a law, like you said, Mr. Chairman, a legal way of doing it. There is a way a referendum should be held and how a referendum should be held.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, if
I'm
I
going to
may,
you, Mr. Brackett.
I
Mr.
want to
Gregory Brackett.
say this, right? This referendum that is being held, which is outside of Belize, is not to target Belizean. You know, here in Belizean affair, we always say they tell on themselves.
Tell on themselves.
And if you heard the tape, he already telling on himself.
he did.
This referendum is to target foreign tourists coming into Belize. They
Too much
want
of
them to
been
come
too
in.
much of them has been arrested. Too much of
That
them.
is correct.
And they're
They
losing
want
money.
tourists will come as long as they know they can bring in some marijuana. They could get on the beach and smoke and do what they have to do. So this is not about the Belizean people or for the Belizean people. It's
Mr.
about
Chairman?
the money the foreign tourists will bring to Belize.
Mr. Chairman,
That is what it's about.
Can I get a chance to bust the
Yeah.
whole bubble before we take off tonight?
Okay.
And I want to stipulate this. I'm not the only person in Belize or the only Belizean that knows that not only marijuana, but a lot of different kind of drugs, including the wet drop drugs there, are a target and being used in the Key, Ambergris Key, Kikaka, Placencia, and all the tourist areas them, okay? And these big mega hotels that are being built, people go there to recreate themselves and to have fun. And part of the liberation of these drugs is to afford those people the opportunity to come and have their fun and leave their money for we. But you, the citizen of Belize, especially if you're black fans outside, you know are participating in that process or derive no benefit from it other than getting a few conks in your head. I'm laughing.
You're right, Leonard. So right.
That's the way I want to try to say it, right? I'm trying to make it relevant. But the truth of the matter is that it's all about business, Mr. Chairman. These guys are not interested in about running the country ethically, morally, for social benefit, or any of these people are about how much of the money going to get left in their pocket. And that gentleman that is the area representative for
Luna,
Tikaka and Ambrogiski.
Was it Mr. Luna?
Perez
or whatever. Anyhow,
a P for the protected one.
Yeah.
Well, that gentleman is advocating. Wait. That gentleman is advocating a positive endeavor in regards to this marijuana liberation process because it serves his people and he makes a lot of money off of them people out there. It's not just that. I'm telling you, those big hotels, a lot of them people out there peddle drugs. They're you know.
Well, Mr. Brackett, you're not convincing me.
For the drug dealers, okay?
Mr. Brackett, you're not convincing me because I
don't have to convince nobody.
No, I'm telling you, I am for the liberation. I'm for the liberation of drugs.
What is it I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. But I'm saying I'm for the liberation of drugs. You use it if you want.
I don't have a problem with that.
And I don't think
to each his own.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But don't come. I don't want them to come with a smart ass self and pretend that they're a child hoodwink for we Belizean people into
thinking there'll be some benefits for them. No, I don't think there'll be much benefits for them. I think the process of legalizing it needs to be under some supervision and control. if we have a few minutes more, I just want to kind of run up against the
I guess you could take a
as
5
we
or 10
approach
minutes depending on how you
we
guys feel,
approach.
you know.
What did you say, Mr. Brackett?
I said we could take a 5 or 10 more minutes depending on how
Yeah,
you
yeah,
gentlemen
yeah.
feel.
Yes.
The reason why is because you had quite a few items that you hadn't touched, you know, and in all
Yes,
fairness, you
yeah.
know, we just had to give
I
you
just wanted to, as we approaching now the 10th of September, the commemoration of the 10th, the Battle of St. George's Key, we have seen a lot of misinformation on this in the annals of our People's United Party preference of how they preface this. Um, it was a skirmish. There was no battle. How could people with with coconut boy stick win against people with cannons and this type of stuff? I mean, people ask these questions when there is a realization that some part of this whole story is a myth, right? And
You ever heard about Guatemalan apologies?
But the fact is that there was a battle that lasted at least 2 days. It was years in planning. We had the Flowers Bank group that voted to go and defend the territory, came down in defense, and there's lots of history on both sides, both from the British archive and the Spanish archive.
Mr.
That
Chairman, the whole
let me
other agenda that people talk like that is about negating a bona fide and valid reason for us to have any claims to say we have a right to the place. If we didn't conquer it,
that makes sense when you look at it in some ways, but when you have the mayor of Belize City, when you have um, politicians, when you have
so Mr. George, it's all the way down. There are all
yeah,
apologies on behalf of Guatemala and the Central American and the Latin American and the Spaniards. They hate the British for having hold on to Belize and having given Belize to us, the black people. So now then they just take it back without having to fire on bullets by just
but
migrating that
we
many
have
millions of
people
people
that
after a year.
I will call
Simple as
some
that.
names.
That's what's
We
going
have
on.
people
And people are making apologies over the issue.
Lita Crone, yes, sir, Musa. We have a number of people that are in control and in of resources of
That's
NIC.
part of the bigger agenda, Mr. Chairman. That's what I'm
And
alluding to, sir.
I didn't hear what you
SJC teaches different than how the other schools and teach. And whenever you go to SJC or you go to St. Catherine's or you go to any other Catholic schools, then you get what you call a pro-foreigner, anti-Belizean mindset or teaching. Okay, that's why the other younger generations they nowadays they don't care about September. They don't understand what the purpose of 10th
let
of
me go to
September.
Mr. Gregory Brackett for a moment.
I yield, sir. I yield back.
Mr. Brackett.
I believe that the government is in denial when it comes to the 10th celebration. You know, because I know for a fact I have looked that up and it is in the archive in the UK. I know
As well
for
as
a
in
fact.
Merida, Yucatan. It's in the
Okay.
Mexican archives.
So I believe that by taking that away is being used to try to profit from it into turning Belize into a republic. As you notice, they're trying to get away from anything that has to do with our heritage. They have been working hard and trying to get rid of our heritage. And I don't know if they believe by saying we need repatriation that will take away from us coming from colonial masters. To me, don't make sense. It will still be there, republic or not. I think what the people of Belize need to do is look at how Canada, who was also under British rule,
As well as the
has got
United States.
its independence and has a parliamentary democracy and is still keeping the head of state as in the king right now. since the Queen has passed. So
The whole agenda
it's
is one
all
of
a narrative.
anti-British, because the British then dare to come to our support when we ask them for the support in order for us not to have lost the Bay and the Key and Belize. Okay? Was it not for the British,
I
they
want
would
to
have,
go to
they would
Mr.
have
Wade,
dispossessed
Mr.
us of
Brackett.
those lands long before now.
Mr. Brackett, I want to go to Mr. Wade. Mr.
Yes, sir.
Wade.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I see your item, your last item in terms of the 10th of September and all the activities and what they're trying to take away and put in and not put in, and forgotten. I noticed that of lately, Mr. Chairman, guys, and real quickly, you have these fifth columnists that comes to this country, these new young little boys, politician that comes to this country, and some of them that is born here, slowly slipping away from our culture, slowly slipping away from, like you says, Mr. Chairman, the 10th of September, what really happened, our culture. It seems that it's not interesting to them. They want to make a little money off it in terms of the word let's celebrate, right? Because their good is in it, but in actually standing up for it, they're not going to do it, right? So you find out, guys, that the older politicians, they are more in tune to it, the older leaders, but these young fifth columnists and these young politicians that we have, um, they'll soon, put an X on our 10th of September and our culture. It's slowly slipping away, Mr. Chairman. That's how I see it.
Yeah,
Back to you.
and that's the point, Mr. Wade. What can be done, I wonder, to sort of ignite it and to bring the truth out? Celebrating it is one issue, but knowing the truth and not hiding the truth, and recognizing that by the 10th, it is only through the 10th that gives us as Belizeans, whether you're black like me, brown like you, white like somebody else, Chinese like somebody else, that whatever your ethnicity is, the Mayans, the Latinos, whatever that hue is on them.
And lastly, Mr. Chairman, quickly, it's not been taught a lot in school, in our schools today. All right,
That
it's
is the point.
slowly slipping away.
Is that
That's part of the marginalization and loss of memory
of the person is, the 10th is what gives us as Belizeans the right and claim to our country. Because otherwise, Belize would not be Belize. It would have been Belize a long time ago.
They want to teach us about Guatemala independence, yes, and what and
they want the kids then go and celebrate. Then it's fire the teachers because the teachers no want to celebrate on Guatemala Independence Day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the level of the
that's been real, right? And I'm not going to say much on that.
Yeah. So for that reason, I just wanted to say, and then I'll pass it to you, Mr. Brackett. Is that we need to find a way to address this. Since the government will not do its part, I think as citizens interested in maintaining and educating, we need to find a resourceful way to make sure that the message of the 10th and the history of our country, its origin, its genesis, is being taught and being properly known to our young people so that they can understand and not. Go ahead, Mr. Brackett.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. On the issue of the 10th, before we leave it, no? During the celebration period, like from June, August until late September, we celebrate a whole lot of different activities, right? As part of our celebratory efforts or endeavors. Why is it and how is it that Juve is bigger than 10th of September Carnival is bigger than Juve. And 10th of September is barely even recognized, but for a few older heads, and I'll call them well, old time people, like they're an IP and in this and in that, and they are of no significance. So, I mean, it's time to get over that fear, according to them. They fail to understand the importance of history. What, like you said earlier, Mr. Chairman, what legitimized Belizeans to lay claim to that little piece of territory there as their homeland is the basis that in the archives of Jamaica too, we have where the Jamaican gunboats, they came to provide the support for
The
Belize.
Merlin.
Okay? And others. And they brought people from Vanaka, and brought people from Honduras
The
and
West Indian Regiment. Yes.
Yeah, and they brought people also from Nicaragua Blue Fields.
Yeah.
They brought the people in from the Black River.
Yeah.
That's why the king of the Black River was given a sanction by the British to help him come and fight the Belizean battle.
Yeah.
It wasn't just only Belizeans that fought that battle. We had a bunch of people from other places. And then they took away all the people from those places, marginalized them in order to give them over to the Spanish. That's how Belize became bigger than what it currently is right now. Belize was much bigger than what it currently is. But it was only because of the Treaty of 1859 that we ended up pulling back from Barros and from Livingston and come back over the other side of the Sarstoon and use the Sarstoon River as the dividing, natural boundary line. We were all the way over on the other side. At that time, Guatemala was an insignificant speck. They never had Puerto Barrios and all those places, the Livingston and all those places there as big as they were. Those places were being controlled by the what I used to call them the gringos. Them, I mean the people that
we have 1 minute.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, sir.
In regards to the 10th of September and to the coming celebration, sir, here we go. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I want to say thank you, sir. I celebrate the 10th of September because it was passed down to me through history by my ancestors. And I will continue to speak and teach about it because it's the right thing to do. Even though some people might despise what happened, I want to say, under our colonial masters, our territory was always a sovereign one. Guatemala could never have put a foot across our border.
And it was given to us in the top.
Had ever remained here.
Thank you.
So
Thank you,
I will not listen to politicians and government who wants to mislead us into believing that we do not have an identity. I go back to you.
Thank you. Good night.
Nice
Good night.
program, Mr. Chairman.
I want to say thanks to everyone that have joined in this evening for 341 Belize Current Affairs. And so I thank you all, and gentlemen, thank you all for being here and being part of the discussion.
Another one for the archives.
I turn it over to you, Mr. Leonard Brackett, to close us out.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Gregory Morrison, for your contribution to tonight's program. Very eloquent and lucid program. Thanks, Mr. Wade, for participating and your contribution. Thanks, Greg, for your contribution and participation as well. And I'd just like to say, as Belizean patriots here on this particular platform, the battle or the struggle goes on, because we are heading into some real serious and treacherous waters with these guys attempting to ram down the throat this 13th Amendment, and still coming behind that with this next PCC Act that they're trying to put in place. Because while a lot of people haven't been focusing on the PCC Act, I want to say that we don't need to lose sight of it, because sooner or later, before we blink our eye, they're going to be coming with it fast and loose. Good night, Belizeans at home and abroad. Thank you for your time spared to listen to what we had to offer tonight, and we look forward to producing another program on Monday. Today is Friday.
Not Friday?
No. Today not Friday yet.
No, I said, don't you have a program on Friday?
Yes, sir. Today is Wednesday.
Oh, you said on Monday.
So I messed up on my thing that I put out initially that I sent to all of you good gentlemen. I put Friday, right? I messed up.
We have a program on Friday.
Yeah.
Yes.
This coming Friday, day after tomorrow.
Yes.
With that said, I would like to say good night, good night, good night.
We want everybody. We want everybody. Give me some of your everybody. Give me some of that.